Alright, we're going to show you how to make cookies. They're not chocolate chip, and they're not raisin cookies. They're chocolate covered raisin cookies. And of course I have 3 cats helping me. Alright, 1.5 cups of flour. Start off with 2 sticks of butter, half a cup of brown sugar, packed, a cup of, I use baker's sugar, but a cup of sugar, 1 egg, teaspoon of baking soda. You're going to go a teaspoon of vanilla. I like using Tahitian vanilla where the girls don't wear no tops. If anybody watches Sanford and Son, you know that was from that show. But Tahitian vanilla has a much better taste than the Mexican vanilla. Nothing against the Mexicans though, so you know, don't want to upset anybody. And a teaspoon or so of cinnamon. I grind my own cinnamon, so I don't measure it. For this purpose, I measured everything so people could see what I'm doing. But generally, I don't measure. I just throw things in. So anyway, there you go. So we already have the 1.5 cups of flour in there. Add your, after you drop it, add your butter. Now what you can do is if it winds up being a little bit too runny for you, meaning too soft, you can add more flour and more oats. Or if it's too thick, you can add more butter. Sometimes I add a little extra butter, depending on how many oats I actually wind up using. So anyway, throw that in there. Sugar, brown sugar. Okay, remember that was a half a cup of brown sugar. 1 cup of regular sugar. Try to use cane sugar. Tastes better than beet sugar. So you definitely want to kind of do that. 1 egg, 1 large egg. So you hit up a large egg in there. Alright. Yes, I'm short some butter here. Let me find the end of the wrapper. Throw that in there. There we go. Nice clean hands, of course. Teaspoon. Usually what I'll do is put all the dry ingredients and mix them together. But not in this particular case. Your oats. 1.5 cup of oats. Teaspoon of baking soda. Teaspoon of cinnamon. More or less, whatever you taste like. You can balance it. You don't have to follow it exact. If you don't want cinnamon in them, don't put cinnamon in them. But a teaspoon of vanilla is, like I say, Tahitian vanilla is better than Mexican vanilla. At least I think it is. It has a better taste, more aroma, a little bit sweeter. But that really depends on your particular taste. Because the mass of purchased vanilla you find in the grocery stores is just cheap, mass-produced Mexican vanilla. So I stay away from that. Quality ingredients, people, gives you better taste. And you may be thinking, I don't usually measure the vanilla. I'm measuring it so people can see it's a teaspoon. I just add whatever I feel like adding. Cinnamon. Like I said, I grind my own cinnamon. Why do I do that? Because it's fresh. Because cinnamon actually comes from the bark of the tree. And, yeah, there's plenty in there. And, anyway, so I grind my own cinnamon. You can really smell it. Take a good whiff. Like you can see it over the camera. Alright, then what I'll do is the butter was still a little stiff. If the butter's a little stiff, you can cut it up into small patties. I go slow to start mixing it so it doesn't throw it out like you've seen it do. But get it all that mixed together. And you add, now you can use this as a base recipe for cookies. You can add chocolate chips to it. How much? Much as you feel like. Whatever looks good to you. You can just go straight up raisins. Again, whatever looks good to you. Cup and a half. It really depends on you. But I'm making chocolate covered raisin cookies. And these are really good. Never had any complaints. There's 3 or 4 different things that I do with a base recipe like this. So this is a base recipe for my cookies. I use, I'd have to show you, but there's other recipes I'd use for my cookies besides this. And once that's fairly well mixed together, like I say, the butter was cold. Normally you let the butter warm up a little bit. If you do use cold butter, just slice it into little pita patties. And then I don't measure the raisins. Now these are good sized chocolate covered raisins, you know, as you can see. These happen to be from Costco, so you can see they're good sized. And you just kind of dump whatever you feel like in there, whatever looks good. When it reaches a certain point, you can say, well, okay, that's enough. But you can never have too much chocolate or too much raisins in cookies, so it's always good. Like I can tell by looking at that, that's not enough. That's pretty good. And then don't forget too, you gotta taste the chocolate covered raisins to make sure they're good. So that's always fun. Technically I'm not eating on camera, I'm chewing on camera, so. There we go. You can see I use about half. So 2 cups at least. You can also add about a teaspoon of salt. You don't have to, because you figure the butter I used is a salted butter, so you don't have to add the salt. And it's mixed up pretty good. And now what you can do, but because I use cold butter, you don't have to really worry so much about it. But what you can do is put this whole thing in the fridge for about 30 minutes to stiffen up the dough, and the cookies will be more firm. These will spread out, but as you put it in the fridge, it'll firm it up. I don't want to make a crack about women here, but you know what firm used to be if you're younger. So anyway, then you're good. And you cook them roughly 6 minutes, 8 minutes. You have to kind of keep an eye on them until they're browned. And you're good. 350, just like anything else, 3 1/4. I also make a really dark chocolate chip cookie. And me and Michael used to joke about it, because he would say, well, how do you know when they're done? I'm like, well, when they're browned. And obviously with the dark chocolate cookie, it's already brown to start with, you know, so he used to laugh about that. But anyway, so to keep the cookies more firm and upright, refrigerate the dough, half hour or so. Or you can add more oats or more flour to stiffen it up if you want. And there you go. I'll get a shot of them coming out of the oven. What I do is, you don't have to roll them into balls. I mean, you know, some people roll them into a ball like that. Usually I just grab a chunk, throw it on the cookie sheet, and there you go. So when these come out of the oven, I'll get another shot. Alright, like I say, this is about the size I use. Bigger than a golf ball. Generally, you can, you know, if you want small cookies, just roll them into a small amount for small cookies. A lot of times I just make them, you know, bam, like that. You know, so I don't actually necessarily, you know, roll them, because I don't care what the cookies look like. As long as they taste good, that's what counts. And like I say, if they spread out too much, just chill your dough. That's all you got to do. Just chill the dough, and that'll make them, you know, a lot firmer. So if you make a peak like that, that'll stay more like that. These will thin out a little bit, because you have to remember, when you add raisins to a base cookie recipe, that adds moisture to the cookie, so it will spread out a little bit. It'll be a thinner cookie. But like I say, make up for it. Add a little bit of flour, add a little bit of oats, whatever you really feel like doing. It's all up to you. And chilling the dough also works. Normally I just add a little bit more flour if I'm in a hurry. It's 2:30 in the morning, so it's all 2:30. so which is pretty early or pretty late, depending on how you look at it. Of course, Brianna and Deb, they're up until all hours, so to them, I don't know if this is early or late. So she can leave a comment to let me know whether she considers that time frame early or late. Anyway, preset your oven. I use convection bake, 350, cuts down on the cooking time. If you're just going to bake, 350, it'll take about 10 minutes. Convection bake, 8 minutes or so. Check them to see how they're doing. You want them higher in the oven, in the middle, and the top rack. You don't want them near the bottom because they'll get done quicker. The bottom of them will get done, and to make them crispy. Also, the more flour you add, or the more oats, the more crunchy the cookie will be. So it's entirely up to you. All right, there we go. You can see they're laid out. How many cookies does it make? I don't know. I've never counted. Depends on how big you make them. But anyway, that's all you got to do. And then I'll get another shot of them coming out of the oven. All right, it's been I don't know, 10 minutes or so. So the ones close, the ones in the middle, obviously will get done first. And yep, those look pretty good. Yeah, the top one should be good. If not, close enough. Now I wasn't able to fit them all on the 2 trays, so I'll still have some to cook. So I'm gonna leave the oven going. I'm gonna let these cool 10-15 minutes. Put them on well, actually not that long, about 5 minutes. Then I put them on a cooling rack. As a matter of fact, I just regular cooling rack, cookie, whatever you want to put on it. Actually, it'll work for anything for a cooling rack. And then I just scoop them out, put them on there, and there you go. We can get a close up here. Whoops. Zoom in here so you can see how good they look. You can see how they're just browned, like here. They're still soft, obviously. But anyway, there you go. Those are chocolate covered raisin cookies. And believe me, they are quite good. So there you go. That's how you make them. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, hit the little B down in the corner to subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications when I upload a new video. And there you go, another cooking video. And I'm also going to make one on blueberry muffins. And I'll tell you what, good. That'll be the next one I'll do. So thanks for watching.